Welcome to the Next Step Recovery podcast. We call this More Than Recovery because addiction is so much more than just getting clean from our addictions, our strongholds. It's really finding our purpose in life, and that's what we're here for each and every day. I like to say that we have three purposes here at the Next Step Recovery podcast. The first purpose is to encourage people, to encourage those who are struggling in their addiction, or just in life. It doesn't have to be an addiction, it could be anything. So we want to encourage you. Number two, we want to educate you. We want to help you help other people. We want to help you help others. And then finally, we want to expand our reach. We want to expand our impact. We want to expand our partners. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to a great show. Welcome back to the More Than Recovery podcast. I am Todd Robinson, and I am here today with Joshua Bennett. Say
Hello.
Hey, Josh.
Hello, everybody.
Josh is at Next Step in the program, been there about 3 months, and I wanted to get with him today and just pick his brain a little bit about where he is. Again, I apologize for the noise you'll hear in the background here as we're at our facility today. We're having some maintenance done, and it's a little bit distracting, but hopefully you won't hear it. But if you hear some banging, please accept our apologies in advance. Josh Bennett, been at Next Step since, I think, September, right? September, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I've known Josh for a while. Josh was at Next Step. We were just trying to figure out when that was, probably 2 or 3 years ago. Was in the program for a while, left us for a little bit, and then you did some time in prison, right, Josh?
Yeah. I've been in and out of county probably 4 or 5 times, 4 different counties, and then this time went from Twiggs to Jones, and then to Coastal State Prison.
Yeah, so Twiggs County in Georgia here, Twiggs County, Jones County, then Coastal State Prison. And then from Coastal State Prison, when you got out of Coastal, they said, Josh, where do you want to go?
Well, I was supposed to, Bibb, I had a retainer in Bibb here in Macon, and I was expecting to go through Bibb County, and the night before they said, they don't want you. Where do you want a bus ticket to? And I thought, oh God, I'm back on the street again.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I called my mama. Mama called Next Step, and y'all come pick me up at the bus stop, and I got a bed to sleep in, and hot showers and 3 meals a day.
He's liking that. No, I appreciate Josh. Josh is a great guy, and as we have got Josh back into the program and got him acclimated, I was sharing just a little while ago when Josh came back to us in September. He was about 40 pounds lighter, and I was teasing him. I said, I've never seen somebody who had not one black eye, not 2 black eyes, but he had 2 black eyes and a black ear. And I think his ribs were about shot. I mean, your ribs were hurting. And I know you had some trouble there in prison as you were leaving.
I did.
Yeah.
Ran up a bill, couldn't pay, and I had 5 of them.
So they made sure you paid one way or another.
I paid that bill.
Yeah. Humbling,
yes, to say the least.
Yeah, yes. And I appreciate Josh, and he's Josh. He's the type of guy who's always been a blessing to me, and I love all these guys to death. And sometimes when they come to us and then they leave and they end up back on the streets and back in their addiction, it hurts me. But at the same time, I've got to let them go through what they need to go through sometimes to bring them back to where the Lord would have them. And so Josh, we were talking a little while ago, we were teasing about how much Josh looks like Travis Kelce. So I'm not interviewing Travis Kelce, and you will not see Taylor Swift here today.
Not today.
Yeah, maybe late. Yeah. But no, it's maybe you can get some traction off of that. I'll mention this real quick. This is just kind of a funny thing while you'll never know what I'll say sometimes. I have a friend who years ago, when one of the Star Wars movies came out, he looked like, what was the guy's name? Anyway, he looked like one of the characters in Star Wars, one of the main characters in Star Wars. And he actually looked so much like this guy that people would stop him on the streets, wanting his autograph, thinking it was him. So anyway, funny. So Josh, tell me, how old are you?
I'm 41.
41 years old. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And you've been in and out of jail, in and out of prison, in and out of your addiction, how long?
Well, I started getting high when I was 15. But I started going to jail right after about 6 years ago.
Okay.
That's when I started really going to jail. That's when I started.
About 35
There you go.
35 years old. So from 15 to 35, for about 20 years, you're getting away with, you're just doing what you want, getting away with it,
Went through major addictions, pills, crack cocaine, methadone, Suboxone, was on all of it, but I never got caught.
Right.
Many times talked my way out of stuff. I could always, very good at, convincing people, even police officers, to just let me go, man.
Right.
But then it just, luck ran out.
Eventually the charm and the good looks and that kind of falls apart on us. Sometimes we can get by so much on our flesh, right? Mm-hmm. And then God has a way of kind of moving in there and saying, you know what, I'm gonna let you feel some pain, Josh. I'm gonna let you feel some pain here. And so from 15 to 20, 15, 25, 35 years old, 20 years now, I'm engaging in this lifestyle. I'm getting away with things, but how were things really in your life? How were your relationships? How were your...
Well, when I was in my addiction, they were bad.
Yeah.
I did get on Suboxone treatment.
Yep.
And I raised a family.
Yeah.
I coached baseball. I went to church. I went on vacations. I bought land. But then I got a divorce.
Wow.
And got prescribed some Xanax and got down.
Yep.
And then somebody said, I know where to get you up.
Yeah.
It was off to the races, buddy.
Right.
It was wide open.
Yeah. So back.
I just got the divorce and single again. And buddy, let me tell you, it was on.
Yeah.
It was on.
Freedom. Whew. Yeah. I felt like I had the freedom, and then it just takes off from there. And you're Josh, your personality is, you're a pretty, you're an out there personality. I mean, you're not a shy guy. You're, hey, let's go. You like to have fun. You like to cut up, like to joke, and you're not, and that personality sometimes is one too. Well, those are great traits, right? Those are great traits. You've helped us in a lot of, when we do some fundraising, you're great at interacting with people.
Yes. Yeah.
But at the same time, that can be a weakness too, because
a curse.
Yeah.
A curse.
Yeah.
When I was on the street, folks would say, man, Josh, you can sell anything. I said, it's a curse. I can wake up every morning with nothing.
Right.
And by lunch, I've been taught folks into giving me what I needed, and did that every day, day in, day out, living behind, seeing y'all go back and forth from next step up here.
Right.
Living up there behind the food depot or in that abando in the woods after I'd left and just watching y'all. It was it was a curse. I tell people, and I wasn't going to stop until I went to jail.
Yeah. Because you could do enough to get by.
Yes, sir.
And even in your addiction, you could do enough to get by. You could do enough to make enough money to get what you need. Mm-hmm. And that's what I tell people, especially parents, that are trying to figure out how to help their children who are in addiction. And a lot of times it's hard for us to accept this, that our children, while they're in their addiction, if we're providing for them, if we're providing food and shelter and all those things for them, they need the very minimum to live in their addiction. So if you're giving them that minimum, they're not going to get help. They're not going to change. And we often call it the tough love approach. Sometimes we have to cut them off. Sometimes we have to say, there's no more help until you get help. And that's difficult. As a parent, it would be difficult for me. So I'm not sitting here saying that heartless. I would need somebody to give me that counsel personally as well. If I was doing it with my children, I would have to have that accountability, because it's as parents, we love our children and we want to provide for them. But you're right. That success can be a curse.
And mamas and daddies, you can literally love your kids to death.
Yeah.
You can love them to death.
Yeah.
And you're just being a mom and daddy. You're just being what God made you to be.
That's right.
But there has to be that time, just like my mom and my daddy did with me. It was just, it wasn't going to fly no more. It just wasn't.
Right.
Because they were loving me to death. They were, I could always call mama. Always call my mama. Bless her heart. Just an angel. And my daddy would get mad at her, but she was just being a mama.
That's right.
And she a good one too.
Yeah.
A good one. and it got to a point to where she even said, I'm done.
Yeah.
And and thank God she did.
Yeah. And again, that's why I say it's never my intent to beat up parents for enabling. I say, because that's what we do as parents. We love our children, and sometimes we enable our children. And so don't beat yourself up. You just need some accountability on the other side from a counselor or from a pastor or from somebody who's going to help you to make those tough decisions, to see your child get the help that he or she needs. It's not just men, it's women yes. too. I've gotten so many calls this week over women. Somebody's looking for a place for ladies to go for recovery.
We got a lot of that when we was at Belks,
Yeah.
We're a men's home. We're next at recovery, helping guys with strongholds and addictions, coming off the street.
Right.
And what about women? And and unfortunately, there's not many, other than the rescue mission here,
right?
Which, but there's not many,
and there's Abba House. I promote at least the rescue mission here has a ladies program, and Abba House in Perry, Georgia. I make a lot of referrals down there for ladies too.
But the struggle is real. It is for men. No discrimination, like you always
That's right.
say. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I know people who are struggling with addiction who are dirt poor, and I know people who are struggling with addiction who are filthy rich.
You got that right.
And it doesn't matter what their background is. And the problem a lot of times, if you have money, you can hide it longer, and the problem becomes worse. The problem exists in the church, in the pews. It exists outside the church. It's everywhere. And it's becoming more and more of a problem in our culture. So you came to us obviously back in September. You came back to Next Step, Josh, and since you've been there, what's helped you? What's been the biggest help for you?
Well, I say the biggest help for me, of course, has been the classes.
Yeah,
reading the classes, getting in the Bible, and then feeling the change. Seeing the change really.
Yeah,
I'm starting to gain weight. I'm starting to feel better. I can call my mama now, and I don't ask for nothing.
Gotcha.
I don't. My daddy, my kids they're coming to church. They're seeing me. When there was a time when I was living on the street down there, they weren't coming to see me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, so I call them on the phone. They were like, "Hey, can't wait to see Sunday."
Yeah.
And it's just you can, when you start to feel it and you start to see it, then it just like you start steamrolling. You know what I mean? And you just got to just there's constantly, little things, but you got to realize that those are just little things, man, that, the main big things that are so important that are keeping me going are the things that I really took for granted.
Wow. That I took for granted. Yeah. Things that in my addiction, it's all about me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Josh Bennett. Now I just, it's all about them and him.
Yeah.
So.
Good. Yeah. And I know that when you came in, when you first came in, you were really, you were in pretty rough shape.
Yes,
when you walked in that door, and I was really concerned for you.
I was down, man.
Yeah. I was hoping, I was like, man, I hope he doesn't get too discouraged and take off. Right. And, after a little bit, after a few days, I kind of sensed in you, Josh, that there was some, I'm desperate. And I appreciate what you say often. You tell me this a lot. I'm grateful to be here.
Yes, I am.
I am grateful because what I find is a lot of guys, not all of them, but a lot of guys have a lot of excuses when they walk in the door. There's a lot of excuses to keep doing what I've been doing and you haven't been an excuse guy.
No. It's because when y'all come and pick me up from that bus stop, it's because of y'all. I get to see my kids.
Yeah.
But I get to exercise now. I get to eat like I'm supposed to. I take hot baths. I got power. I know this sounds silly.
You're right.
I'm telling you though, it's cold. It's cold outside. When we wake up in the morning now, and like I go outside, all I can think is, thank God I'm not in those woods anymore. Thank God I'm not, in a tent.
Tell me what it's like living out there in the woods in a tent.
It's not
in your
freedom.
addiction.
It is not fun, and it is not freedom. And I used to say, "Oh, it's a type of freedom." Like, it sounds so stupid now that I say that, but when it rains, everything gets wet. Yeah. Everything. It doesn't matter. And you're dirty, you stink, you just wallow in filth, and it's just misery. It is just horrible.
I hear a lot of you guys say this, and I take it to heart. I take this to heart, Josh. Because it's not just you, but when I hear guys say, man, I'm so thankful for electricity right now. Mm-hmm. I'm so thankful for heat right now.
Yes.
I'm so thankful for the air conditioning, depending on the temperature outside. I'm so thankful for 3 hot meals a day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so thankful for a bed to sleep in, you know, and it really gets to me in a good way to remind me that my problems are not that big.
It ain't that serious.
Right. That's right. I love that.
Yeah.
It ain't that. And that's your comment to a lot of the guys sometimes.
They'll come in and say, I'm like, bro, listen, you got to calm down. It's not that serious. Trust me, it can get a lot worse really fast.
Right.
So
if we're splitting wood all day, it ain't that bad.
Better get the splitting.
Right. That's right. They better get the,
so, I mean.
Yeah, it's we sell a lot of firewood as fun as to support the ministry. We sell a whole lot of firewood this time of year, and sometimes it can be busy. And but you're right, I love that. You know, it's not that serious. We could be a whole lot worse because you know we've had in the last couple of months we've had a couple of guys who were in the program, left the program, and come to find out that they left the program and are back to living in a tent. And
one of the guys that did that one time, and he was one that I was just talking about. We was on the way to church, and it was cold, and it was raining, and under my breath, I just kind of was just sitting there back in the back of the van. And I said, thank God I'm not under that. Thank God I'm not in the woods.
Yeah.
He leaned over and said, I'm glad I'm not under that bridge. But then he left and he goes right back out there, like, and I almost broke. I almost started crying, like, because I felt that, because he wasn't faking, he wasn't lying, he knew what it was like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And he was thankful at that time, and I don't know what happened. I don't know why he forgot, but
that's how quickly the mind can go, just like that. That's how quickly our minds can. You're right. It's like we know it, but something in our emotionally overtakes, and we have got to be on our guard. What's the Bible say? You know, the devil's like a roaring lion, ready to attack, ready to just jump. And our emotions can take us to places that we just said we wouldn't go to.
I'm trying, and you know, the devil, I think he gets too much credit when it comes to that. Josh is a roaring lion too. He is real quick to mess Josh up, and
he just plants the bait.
But I've learned to watch him though. I've learned to watch that guy.
Yeah, I often say that we give the devil way too much credit. My biggest problem is Todd, and Josh's biggest problem is Josh.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, and your biggest problem is you. You know, it's let's stop blaming. Let's stop blaming. We like to shift blame to other people, but we also like to shift blame to the devil. And let's not give him.
I know. Screw that guy.
Yeah, it's us.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I asked, you know, earlier today in the previous podcast, I asked Kevin this too. You know, what a guy coming in when you came in, and you kind of talked about it a little bit, Josh. You know, when you came in that door, what'd you need? When you walked in that door that first day? What did you need?
A hug.
A hug. That's good.
You know what I mean? And you know, some real friends, because out there on the street, I had acquaintances.
Yeah.
People I hit licks with and people that I did dirt with.
Yeah.
But nobody that truly said, man, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Yeah. Right.
You know, what can I do for you? You know what I mean? And just really just somewhere to feel safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was, you know.
Transactional relationships versus real relationships, Addiction relationships are transactional relationships.
Yes,
They're
what I got and what you got.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, and then I'm off to the next one.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Even if it's a female-male relationship, when we're in our addiction, it's still a transactional relationship. Because if you end up in the hospital, they're not coming to see you.
No, and I'm not going to see them.
Right.
And I tell them real quick,
Right.
I'm not one to fall in love with. You know, I will. You know, they say, and I had people that truly tried to care when I was out there, and I'd be like, don't take me to your house.
Right.
Don't
right.
take me to
Right.
your house.
You knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just like, I can't do that.
Don't take me to your house, bro.
Right. I don't want to cross that line out here on the streets. I'm not going to cross that line from the transactional relationships, the real because it's not. You can't maintain it.
Because I was so good at a people person. You know, they call me yard sale on the street. You know, because I could just I could sell anything, and so you know people get to hang around me and they think that, you know, I'm like, well, I ain't your friend now. You know, don't forget now.
Yeah, I'm not your friend.
I will get you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I use you for what I need you for.
But now there's nothing I wouldn't take nothing from nobody. You know what I mean? So there's some good guys at the home. Yeah.
And there are. I tell everybody all the time, the guys, all those guys in there, they're all great guys. They really are. Are they going to make bad decisions? Many of them. But, we all are going to make some bad decisions. We really, really are. And some of them will still have too many excuses to really make a change.
But it's awesome though when you can, like now we can pray for stuff.
Yeah.
And it'll be small stuff like, but we can see miracles happen. We
Yeah.
can literally watch and we can pray for stuff and then see it unfold.
Yeah.
And it's just and it's just everybody's faith just a little bit more, a little bit more,
Yeah.
a little bit more, a little bit more.
Every day. Like I told Kevin earlier, just get better every day.
Yeah, just do a little bit better today than you did yesterday. I love that. I can do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't have to do a whole lot better.
No,
but
just
I do.
one little bit.
So by the time a year goes by, man, I've come a long
way.
I've come a long way. If I can it's like saving money. If I can put $1 away.
It's so funny. The new guys will come in, right? And they come in off the street, off the prison, they cussing, and they'll cuss. I'm like, ooh.
It gets to you.
It's like every camera just said, you know what I mean? Like, it's just funny. But it's like you said, though, once God gets in your life and you start doing it, you don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, and and it's just
that's good.
Faith and grace, and and then you want to do works.
Yeah.
Because you want to
help
act
somebody
right.
else.
You want to do right. You
Right.
don't want to speak like that anymore.
Right.
You know
And
what I
that
mean?
new guy comes in and he's not there yet. And you're yeah, I know. And it's neat to watch these guys to move along, to go from what they were when they came in the door that first day to what they become. And it's just neat to watch that transformation in their lives.
It's miracles. We see it every day. Like, and it's just like, and there's 30 guys in the house. We see 30 little miracles every day.
Yeah.
Because every day it's just a little bit, especially when we start really getting together and the house is rolling good, man. It's fire though.
Yeah, that's good.
It's good stuff, man.
So if you could give one piece of advice to a family member, a mom, a dad, a loved one who's struggling with a child, or maybe it's a wife who has a husband who's in addiction, what's the advice you give to them to encourage them as they're dealing with the turmoil that's going on in their lives right now?
Love them to life, don't love them to death.
Love them to life, don't love them to death.
Yeah. And
because we can love them to, like you said earlier, we can love them till we kill them.
Yeah. And
That's good.
It ain't your fault. You know what I mean?
Right. Because a lot of parents carry guilt.
And just because you say no, let them sleep. I hate to say this, but let them sleep outside. Let them get cold one good night. Let them go hungry. And you know what I mean? And just don't love them to death, man.
I may have shared this before. I don't remember. There was a guy who came in my office several years ago. It was a father. And his wife, they how do I put this? It was a man and his wife that came in to see me. I had met them at an event the day before. They came in to see me, and he had a son. His wife was not the mother of the son. It was her stepson, but it's his biological son. And he had told me that his son at one time had worked for him in their business, very successful business in Warner Robins. Mm-hmm. And he said that he had to let his son go because his son, while they were drug testing everybody in the business, his son would never take a drug test himself. Come to find out that his son was pretty addicted, so he had to let his son go. And he came to me and he said, "Todd, my son is 45 years old. He's living in a hotel in Warner Robins. I need to get him some help. He can't work for me anymore. He can't hold a job. He's so addicted to a number of things." He said, "How do I get him to get help?" And I looked at him and I said, "Who's paying for the hotel?" And he said, "Well, I am." I said, "Who's paying for his food?" He said, "Well, I am." I said, "Why would he go get help?"
Yeah.
Why would he go he has everything he needs.
At a motel.
At a motel.
Not having to work.
Right, not having to work. And I looked
going on.
Right. And I looked at him and I said, "You've got to go to him today and tell him, 'Son, I love you, but you got 2 more weeks of food and hotel. At the end of these next 2 weeks, I'm done.'" He called me a week later and he said, "My son's on the way to a program."
See?
Yeah. Love him to life.
And just pray.
Yeah.
Prayer works so much. I mean, just pray, love him to life.
Pray
just
for
keep
him.
praying.
Yeah. Because you're not going to argue them into success.
Nope.
You're not going to beat them up. You're not going to tell them they're worthless. You're not going to tell them they're no good. You could say all those things, but you're not going to get there. You got to love them to life, which means that you may have to lovingly ask them to leave, not screaming at them, not yelling at them. And so that's good.
Here too, like, you got to let them hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And they might hit bottom and take a shovel and keep digging.
Yeah.
Let them dig.
So
I mean, I hate to be like
they hit
that.
rock bottom, they're going to keep going.
But it's the truth, you know what I mean? Because like you said, you can't browbeat them.
Yeah.
You can't hold kids over their heads because everything's been done to me. And they might do good for 60 days, 6 months, a year.
Yeah.
But it's just until they put God first, until they put him first and everybody else second, it's just, good luck, man. Good luck, bro.
Well, Josh, thank you, man, so much for being here. Again, I appreciate you and everybody that came out today and to help do this. And again, we are more than recovery, and we're here to encourage you, to educate you, to edify you in whatever battle you may be having right now. And if you need to contact us and have a further conversation, you can reach us through our website at www.nextstepmen.org. And we just want to be an encouragement. We want to be a help to you in any way that we can. And certainly our goal is to expand our reach. And if we can do that through helping you, that's our job. And we thank you again, Josh. Thank you, appreciate you. Thanks so much for being here today, and indulging with us here in our podcast. We apologize for all the noise in the background, but next time we should be a little bit more calm in our background noise. So have a great day.